everyone for joining so far. I'm also live on our Instagram. If anyone is going to join from there. Cool, cool, cool. ShareWillow Nate Taker, approve that.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, 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 Diane. Oh my God, I love all your books.
Well, thank you.
Your office is a little less sterile than the one that I'm in right now. We need to spruce this up a bit.
Get some color in there.
I know. We should go. You gotta get a painting contractor. One of our customers. Um, Okay, live on our Instagram. I don't know if the volume is going to flow through. I guess they could hear me talking from the phone if the volume's flowing through. If you're on the Instagram, can you comment if you can hear me? Um, all right. We have let's give it a few minutes. We're going to let some people kind of funnel in here. I'm going to put the deck up. We have a couple awesome slides for you. Here we go. Put that over here. This is actually an incredible turnout. I know everyone found out about this from our newsletter, so hopefully you guys have been enjoying the newsletter. We've been consistently putting out, one per week. We use a platform called Beehive. I love it, and hopefully you get some value out of it. So everyone that's here only would have heard about this from the newsletter. So that's really cool that people are seeing the newsletter and signing up for value add like this. That's really cool. Uh, all right. Okay. Well, let me just kind of share this. And guys, welcome everyone. Welcome in. Most people, actually, everyone on here, I think, would be on the ShareWillow newsletter list, or unless someone sent this to you, or you're a ShareWillow customer. So, firstly, thank you everyone for joining. We're gonna get started in just a little bit. Give this a little bit to for everyone to roll in. Probably like 2 more minutes, and then we'll get started. But could everyone just to make sure everyone's engaged, paying attention, can everyone just put where they're located in the chat? You can now send mongrel feedback. So, what's up, Rob? Rob from Good Guy Plumbing. I did a podcast episode with Rob. Rob's the man. Uh, Thanks for joining. I don't know if everyone can see, but I feel like 24 people in here is pretty good. We had 60 end up registering. So that's awesome. Wow, this is awesome. Okay, so we have Oklahoma, Dallas, Torrance, California, Wichita, Kansas, Austin, Nashville, London, Iowa, Southwest Florida, New Jersey, Northern Idaho, and we have an AI assistant that just said something. That's awesome. And everyone can see the chat, right? Everyone can see what everyone said. Cool, cool. I feel like sometimes people do like fake webinars and like the chats are like hidden and they can't actually see it. So that's awesome.
We're doing that magic. So what
okay, cool. Mute all. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. I feel like mute all new and current participants. Keep asking questions in the chat. So we have myself here. I'm gonna introduce myself in just a second, and Jack from our team, and we're gonna be going through and we're gonna be answering all of your questions. So 27 people. By the way, if you're new here, add where you're located in the chat. And one more thing, add what type of business, what industry. I know we have a lot of HVAC. Looks like we have a lot of or some plumbing companies here. So what industry are you in? One of the things that I want to do is I want to help everyone learn from each other. That's why I started the ShareWillow podcast. I'm interviewing some of the most successful HVAC plumbing contractors in the country and trying to share their tips and tricks with everyone else so everyone can learn from each other. And I'm pulling nuggets out of every single one of those episodes. It's amazing. Um, and I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So give me 1 second here. All right, so welcome to From Hourly Pay to Performance Pay, building scorecards that drive results. My name is Ryan Shank, founder of ShareWillow. Um, and my background, I first was COO at a company called M Help Desk. It was field service software back in 2012, 2013, kind of aging myself a little bit. And we ended up getting acquired by Home Advisor. And that's when I first started working with a lot of, hold on, a lot of contractors. It was at M Help Desk, and then from there I went to I started a company called Phone Wagon, which is a call tracking software company, basically helping attribute phone calls to ad spend for small businesses. And it was there that I learned that most people were like, "Hey, it's not the leads that are the problem; it's the people. I can't find great people to do the work." And I realized that there was this huge disconnect. People were getting paid hourly, but the business wasn't incentive. The business wanted people to do the work better and faster, and they wanted them to have more average ticket size and to have more maintenance contracts that they sold. Give me 1 second. I'm going to reshare the deck. Yeah, I'm just going to share this because I'm going to be flipping back and forth between the two. Hold on, technical difficulties. That's this, right? Yeah. Okay. So that's when we decided to. So then I decided to start ShareWillow. And what we learned from talking to home service contractors was the one thing that they cared about was their customers, and they cared about, hey, how do I drive performance from my hourly workers? How do I incentivize them? How do I get them to do the jobs faster and better and attach all of these different items that we want to talk to? So then I came across this story actually on Service Titan about this huge HVAC company from Washington, D.C. called FH Fur. They actually now do 160 million in revenue. And this is Darius Livers. He was talking. He was talking in here. He was nervous. He was nervous to move the company to performance pay. And when he did, he realized that he was able to actually double revenue without increasing the team. I'm pulling out a snippet here, and then I'm going to go through a couple things that he mentions. He mentions here. Okay, he's able to now install over $1 million more. Whoa. He's able to install $1 million more over the course of 2 months with the same number of crews. I bet a lot of you have that issue. It's like, how do I get more performance out of my existing team? The answer isn't always just hiring, right? And he's like, we can install over $1 million over the course of 2 months with the same number of crews by moving into performance pay. No more trucks on the road. So I thought that was super interesting. So here's some key topics to implement with performance pay. And he talks about these. And by the way, I'm going to just add this article. It's this article right here. I'm just going to copy this link and I'm going to drop this in the chat. And he talks about this. I'm going to talk about it, obviously, with the context of ShareWillow, but just performance pay in general. But my point with this is like, don't listen to me. Listen to Darius. He's doing 160 million. He has a ton of trucks on the road. He was able to double his revenue with performance pay. If you're still paying hourly, I just don't think it's the most effective way to get performance out of your crews, out of your guys. So the question you might be having, how do I transition hourly employees to performance pay without losing them? Are they all going to walk if I transfer them to performance pay? How do I open a new trade service using performance pay? What to look for when hiring, and then values. And he talks about a lot of these when rolling out performance pay to the whole team. In the article, you can read it, but look, you got to put it in writing and provide visual aids and examples. And by the way, I'm going to go through how we can solve all of these with ShareWillow in just a moment. Provide a pay guarantee. So when we say performance pay, we don't mean everything is performance pay. It's only variable performance pay. There's still an hourly rate, but now there is a performance pay piece of it as well. Okay, so there's a guarantee. Make sure your payroll structure is intact. You're on some type of FSM, field service software, and whether that is, Service Titan, whether it's, House Call Pro, Jobber, Field Edge, whatever it is. And make sure your performance pay plan doesn't, leak out too early. So you want to kind of stress test it. One of the things we built with ShareWillow, we're going to create the plans, create all the KPIs and scorecards that we're going to talk about today. And then we're going to let you run historical sort of models through there just to make sure that you're not paying out more for the same level of performance or worse. Okay, so these are some quotes that we pulled from that. Everyone is going to have some challenges that are going to be a little bit different depending on the trade. I don't really care what your trade is. You can move to performance pay. So if you think, I don't know, this isn't for me, I'm not a huge HVAC guy in Washington, D.C., it is for you. And it's going to work for you. Changes, they might not happen overnight, but they're going to drastically change the future of your business. And by the way, if you just look at, so what are the big guys doing? Tommy Mello, FH for, these guys, all of them say unanimously, you can't pay hourly workers if you want to get the maximum performance out of them. You can't pay them just hourly. You have to have some type of incentive for them. I probably should have put this slide up a little bit higher, huh? So Ryan Shank, founder of ShareWillow, kind of told you a bit about my background, but I wanted to go through the FH for story first and just solidify that, like, hey, this is real. This isn't just me telling you that it's real because I'm incentivized as the founder of ShareWillow. Like all of these other companies, even companies that aren't using ShareWillow, are doing performance pay. What we found is that we've built the best system to be able to actually track and manage it and give your techs visibility. And what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to show you how we can do that. Because I think a lot of people, hopefully you understand, like, all right, cool, I get it. Sure, incentives make sense. I think I should, give some type of variable pay to my team. How the heck do I do that? How do I create the scorecards? Like, which KPIs should I use? How do I even track that? So we're going to show you how and how to make it easy and how it is for you. And you are going to be able to do it. I do think, I do like some slides over here. So I'm just going to like kind of show them. Like there's 2 million home service businesses and they all agree hourly workers must pay with incentives. Right now it's crazy. People are like just making their best guess, down here, sending them Word docs. The data's not flowing. We think like a huge piece of this is integrating all of the data to actually be able to show real-time progress towards goal, all of these things. And this is like, by the way, one of the big differentiators of ShareWillow is really like pulling in this data and doing a lot with the data, because otherwise it's super complex. But in ShareWillow, which I'm about to show you in the other slide deck, we take kind of like a three-prong approach. We have our plan design that we know because we've done this with thousands of incentive plans. We know exactly how to design the plans, which KPIs to use, how to actually track them, which thresholds to use, all of that. Like you're getting learnings from our whole team that does this like all day, every day, with pretty big companies. Actually, one of the girls next door who's an incentive specialist, she's talking to a $200 million top line electrical company out of Austin, Texas. It does mainly commercial work, but they're amazing. So we built this custom integrations hub to pull in all of your different data sources, because you don't want to spend countless hours pulling the data and telling the guys, where they're at for the month, right? You want to be able to do it instantaneously and see in real time how they're progressing. And then the employees are going to see in real time how their performance impacts their pay. Hey, what do I need to do? Do I need to show them the good, better, best for the replacements? Do I need to offer a maintenance plan? Do I need to get the 5-star review? And then the owners need to be able to, review performance metrics in real time, calculate the payouts. And then we just fundamentally agree about integrations, how they're critical to success. But I'm going to flip back to this right here, because I think this explains it in a little bit better terms. And by the way, if you guys have any questions whatsoever or feedback for me, put it in the chat. I'll listen. If I'm talking too fast, put that in the chat too, which I probably am. So I'm just going to slow down. Okay, cool. So, who we are, roadmap to designing incentive plans. I think a lot of people want to do that. If you have something, I would imagine a bunch of people here have some type of incentive plan. How do I improve those? And what are best practices? A lot of times, businesses will come to us and just say like, "What are you seeing? Like, I don't have the answers. Tell me what you're seeing with other companies just like mine." Right? Disaster restoration in Oklahoma. I see Joe, that's your company. Monty in Northern California, window cleaning. We got leak detection, plumbing, Kevin. So, you know, I'm sure we're working with similar companies to yours, right? A lot of people in here, you guys have similar type businesses, and it's like, how do we kind of give the learnings to each other? And then how to make incentive plans appealing for employees. Look, at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is drive behavior from employees, and we want the employees to win. We want the employees to feel like they're getting an upside. This is not, you're not taking anything away. Once the employees feel a win here, they're inspired, they're doing better, they're competing with each other in a win-win kind of way, right? And then at the end of the day, what this is doing is it's giving your customers a better experience. Your employees are delivering a better service to your customers because they're incentivized to do so. And then we're going to talk a little bit more and do some Q&A. We're working with a lot of businesses, and we're in the trenches. We have podcasts. We're at all the trade shows. We are talking to home service businesses all day, every day, partners with Service Titan. We're going to be at Pantheon if anyone's going to be there. By the way, say in the chat if you're going to be at Pantheon, which is Service Titan's conference. But we, all day, every day, this is what we're doing. And we've broken down the process of designing and managing incentive plans into 6 steps. Okay. You have to design the plan. What does that mean? That means the thresholds, the formula. It means, all the calculations, who's in the roles, the levels, the different KPIs. There's tons of design stuff that happens, but you also have to make it simple and easy to understand. Then the data. This is the most important thing. And this is where, I think ShareWillow really wins. Is we're going to prepare your data, and however your data is, we're going to be able to get it, hopefully, and we're going to be able to ingest it into ShareWillow because that is the secret sauce. None of these other companies that are doing this, which by the way, there's like one other one, are doing it with the data. They're going to tell you that you have to manually input the data, and in our experience, that's when everything breaks down and it just doesn't work. Then you launch it, which we, help train the employees and do all that. Then you share the progress towards goal, you review it, you iterate. Cool. So the plan design process is broken down. Who's in each plan, right? Is this going to be for your installers, your repair guys, your service guys, your CSRs? Like who's going to be in the plan? And most of our customers actually have multiple plans. I know some big HVAC customers of ours, they have like 10 different plans, and each plan has different roles in it. And then you want to say, how's the award calculated? So again, who is the plan for? The whole company, specific teams, individuals. What are the company and department goals? And a goal can be a revenue goal. It can also be like callbacks, right? I know some people that are running 14% of their jobs are getting called back, and they have a goal of 5% or below. So a goal can be a goal based on a metric like that, right? Or I want to sell 20% of my jobs, I want to sell maintenance contracts to. It can be that, right? And then if those are achieved, then a bonus is paid out. But if they are not achieved, nothing gets paid out. So we create these thresholds for each different goal that then kind of de-risk you as the business owner from paying anything out if you don't hit it. And we found that those work incredibly well just for incentives. And then it's like, how is it split, right? So there's all these different rules. Then the big thing here, in our opinion, is the data. And you might be using. By the way, can you guys put what you're using for field service software in the chat? Whether it's Service Titan, House Call Pro, Field Edge, Google Sheets, Clipboard, whatever it is. Service Titan, House Call Pro, Customer Factor. Yep, Job Tread. Okay, Accelerate. I've seen a few Accelerates lately. There's other ones too. There's contractor foreman, there's field edge, there's field fusion, service fusion, and kind of all of these guys, right? So all the metrics need to be used and tracked. And by the way, let me just give you an example. In Service Titan, there could be tons of different reports. So if you want to give all revenue, you might have to have 3 different reports and stitch them together. It could be revenue, it could be like revised revenue, like it could be all of these. And if you just say, hey, I'm pulling revenue, it might not be true revenue, the true total of the revenue, right? Or for instance, if you have 2 guys attached to a job, but one is a sales guy and one is the guy who performed the job. You might not want to attribute all of the revenue to both of them, right? The sales guy, maybe he sold the job, but he's only getting commissioned off of like 20% of the revenue, like a commissionable revenue or something like that, or attributable revenue, right? So there's like, not only is it just getting the data, but then it's like all these different reports, right? Or to get callback percentage, you need, number of jobs and then number of callbacks to the job and then attribute that to the rep. But then the rep might not always be the same rep that goes back to the job. And then you also don't want to surprise the rep that he got a callback. Maybe he got a callback. He didn't actually have to go back to the job, but he needs to know that, right? So we're going to pull in that data and surface it to him so he can see that, hey, you had a callback, right? If you're tracking their callback percentage. So, to ensure your plans are scalable, all the metrics need to be tracked, right? And we see this, again, coming directly from the field service software. Some people trust their QuickBooks revenue, though, over their field service software revenue. So you might want to pull in data from different places, or you might have a Google Sheet that you're tracking a bunch of data to as well. So then you're going to want to pull in maybe a Google Sheet for this field. So basically you're mapping your data into ShareWillow and you're also doing stuff with it. And this is the important thing that I think separates us from anyone else and is why we give such a great experience to the employees, which again, if the employees win, you win, the customer wins. We want to make sure the employees win. And then we're going to launch it. Once the plans are ready, get your team together. What we do is we create training material. We come to the meetings. We say, hey, we're a partner of yours. So it's not like you just guessed your way through it and your guys are like, well, how did you come up with this? Like, you're like, we partnered with a best-in-class vendor. This is all they do all day, every day. They have insight into thousands of other businesses just like ours. Like, they know how to develop it. They're partners of Service Titan, Service Fusion, House Call Pro, all of the FSMs, and they're going to pull the data and you're going to get real time. So what we do is we explain the plan structure and the why behind it, right? Just like how FH Fur, he was like, hey, I have to tell my employees that this is going to be a win. And all the employees in the first year, when they doubled revenue with the same team, everyone made more money. Everyone made more money, right? So this is an opportunity for an upside, which people want. And by the way, when that happens, their effective hourly rate increases substantially. So if your guys think of themselves as $32 an hour, 28, we're now going to take their incentive pay and then add that. Now their effective hourly rate, 42, 44. They're going to tell their friends, I'm making 44 now. I'm making 42. I was like, holy, how you doing that? I'm like, performance pay. And that is where you start to get the best guy. Oh man, I got to go there. Like, I can beat you. I can sell more than you. You know what I mean? Like, the competition shows up and the people that are winners start to show up at your door. And then they retain. Providing examples, and again, go through some potential scenarios. Hey, this is the current plan. Let's run the metrics through there. If you just increase your average ticket size, your callback comes down a little bit, you get 4 more 5-star reviews, whatever it is. Show them that potential. People love to see that. I think a lot of times you want to just unlock this deep motivation that's like stuck inside of people because they're not on a correct plan to really unleash that. And then just get everyone excited. Anyway, so we show up to those trainings with materials. We make it easy to digest and we get people excited. And then, continue the momentum, share it by launch. Like, they have logins. We're going to kind of bring them back. Oh, you're 3 jobs away from unlocking this, right? Kind of some, not gamified elements, but how sometimes you get those things that pull you back into products and get you to like really cross that finish line. That's what we're going to do. We're going to keep everyone aligned. We're going to keep them informed throughout the whole process. So there's never any surprises. They're going to know at the end, like what they're getting. It's not going to be like, why didn't I get it this year? You know how, I don't know if any of you guys have experienced this, but it's like, they're kind of upset and surprised that they're like not getting their bonus. It's like, you knew the whole time. We knew where you were at and tracking, hey, you're 30% to goal, but 80% of the way to the end of the month. You know what I mean? It's like, you're probably not going to hit it. So all of that too kind of keeps everyone on the same page in terms of like visibility. Whoop. And then at the end of the period, we're going to gather all the inputs automatically because the data is fully integrated. And then, calculate the awards in real time, nearly super easy. Instead of spending, we have one company that would spend almost a full day per week. So that's like 20% of the time pulling data because they did weekly payouts to technicians. And that was a pretty big company, $26 or 26 million in revenue in Appleton, Wisconsin, maybe 100 employees or something like that. But all of it now that we have all the service type reports getting pulled in and everything, instant calculations. And then we, notify all the technicians and the team, hey, you just received your award. That pulls them in, that gets them excited, that reinforces the behavior. It's kind of that habit loop, right? Where they're getting reinforced by the money that gets brought in. And then they can see what each other are making too, because like these guys talk, let's be honest. And then they kind of get motivated. Like, damn, you got $2,500. Like, what'd you do? I only got 1,800, right? So they're kind of like getting reinforced, competing a little bit, but also getting excited about the upside. And then iterate, right? So we're constantly looking at like what is best practices. We're pulling in data from the best companies, right? And we're seeing like, hey, what's working? What are the different formulas? What are the different KPIs? And then we're going to be able to make suggestions and iterate on this for you guys. Okay, so all of those, are what are going to be factors to really win here. And if you have, existing plans, there's a bunch of things you should be asking yourself. Who are the winners? Does this work? And we can help you with that. And that's some stuff that we do. Here's best practices. And then, by the way, then I'm going to kick it to Jack. He's going to show you live. We'll get a little bit more interactive here. So kind of a lot of slides. So I want to make sure everyone is getting the most value out of it. But look, keep it simple. Make it easy for these guys to understand. The thresholds have to get met first. You're de-risked. Why would you not do this? Firstly, everyone's saying you have to move to performance pay. FH Fur, Tommy Mello, all these guys, again, not ShareWillow customers, but they're all doing performance pay integrated into all of their stuff. So it's like, why would you not do it? And then the thresholds, again, they de-risk you. They have to get hit in order for anything to get paid to pay out, right? So it's like, it's a no-brainer. And then it's like, if performance is better, you as the company make more money. The customers get a better experience because it was a more enjoyable experience. It got job got done faster, whatever. And then the employees make more money. Such a win-win. Such a win-win. The metrics have to have individual impact. If it's too much of like a company metric at the end of the quarter, if the company's profitable, like they can't control the company's profit. They're not controlling the rent that you pay or anything like that. It's too out of their control. So I think that doesn't drive behavior. From what we've seen from thousands of conversations, hundreds of the biggest and best home service companies, it has to be the individual performance metrics that drive the behavior. And again, if you win the employee, everything else follows. And that's what our sole focus is how do we get the employee to change their behavior in the best way that's fully aligned. The awards have to be meaningful. Like we think of like 5 to 20, I think of it should be like 20% of the salary, 20% of total salary. And it have to be meaningful. But again, you can set it, you can create the formula so that it's like, that's only happening if the company's way more profitable. And then keep the team up to date, real time, metrics have to be synced. And like, let's all win together is kind of like our approach. And again, here's some things on how to make it appealing to employees. I'm going to stop this screen share for a second. If anyone has any questions right now, so we're going to dive into like ShareWillow, and we're just going to show you our software. I don't want this to feel too like pitchy. Don't get me wrong, we're definitely pitching you, but I don't want it to feel too much like that. So like have questions, fire at us, like, fire questions at us, and then just ask like, why would you not do that? I'm curious. Like, are you doing this, by the way? I'm curious. Let's answer that in the chat. Are you doing any type of performance pay right now? And If the answer is no, I'm curious why not? Like, do you not believe in it? Obviously, if you're here, you're interested, but I'm curious, like, why not? So, are you doing performance pay? Yes, no. If no, why not? In the chat, AJ, Heath, Joe, Samuel, Monty, Mike, Michael, Mark. No, but looking to make that shift. Not sure how. Let's go, baby. Okay. Cool, cool. I like these. I like these answers. We do spit. Yep, spiffs, service titan. We do spiffs, kinda. So these answers are what we found are the like unanimous answers. Everyone's like wants to do it, and I don't know how. I see that people are talking about it. You guys probably are in a lot of the groups that I'm in, the Facebook groups, and like, you probably at the conferences, you're talking to other people and you're hearing about it, and you're like, I just don't know where to start. I don't know how. Obviously, if you're even here, you were on our list or something. So, try to pay attention. Became an intro. We try to interesting. So, Kevin said commission with sales bonus for text, nothing for CSR, only hourly. R.E. Carlson, employee retention became an issue when we tried a few years ago. Yeah, so that's interesting right there. So we're going to dive into the how with ShareWillow. I'm going to pass it to Jack. Keep asking questions, though, if you're like, or if you have ideas about KPIs that's important to you, ask that in there. But cool. Samuel said, my mind was made up a month ago. I'm going to sign up in 6 to 9 months. That's what I don't understand when people are like, I'm going to sign up later. It's like, I mean, fair. There's probably other stuff going on. Yes, Mark, we're going to send a copy of this out. It's recorded. I'll drop it on like a YouTube link. Send you, everyone will get a copy of this. Yes, the other thing though is oh yeah, when like you saw that FH Fur doubled his revenue when they rolled this out. So to me, it feels like this isn't this nice to have. Maybe I'll try it out. It feels like this is like something you sort of need to do. Anyway, that's me, obviously biased with ShareWillow. But Jack, I'm going to turn it over to Jack, and he's going to drive.
Awesome. Can you all hear me? Or Ryan, can you hear me? Cool. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm actually going to go through building a plan. I'll try to give some more tips along the way as to what the structure of the plans look like, best practices, recommendations while building a plan. So hopefully everyone can see my screen now. And just to give you a sense, we're looking at the ShareWillow platform from an owner, operator, manager's perspective, where you have a breakdown of all of the different plans that fall under the business. Like who just mentioned? Well, Rob. Like Rob mentioned, a lot of times businesses are having multiple plans under the company, right? You're not just having one blanketed plan for everyone. Your CSRs have a plan, your service techs have a plan, your install team has a plan. And then you might have spiffs on top of that for 5-star reviews or yard signs or membership. So we make it really easy to have a centralized place where you can track and manage everything. Like Ryan mentioned, we're pulling in data, which is really key to managing the plans and the platform. We're pulling in data from Service Titan. We're pulling in data from House Call Pro so that all of that lives here. And you can click into plans very easily and say, okay, this looks a little bit complicated. And we'll walk through creating a plan. But what does our plan look like? Are we hitting our numbers? What's the formula for determining who's getting paid what? And then actually seeing who is making how much, right? So Jasper's making a lot less than Tessa in February. It's because of the plan that's loaded in and the data that we're pulling in from, for example, Service Titan. But let's go through actually creating a plan. I think it'll make a little bit more sense and hopefully be helpful in understanding how we think about creating plans for most of the businesses that we work with. So we'll call it a webinar plan, not a great, we're going to call it an install plan because I want to create a plan for an install team. So name the plan, select the year it's for, and then frequency. This is actually really important. The more frequent we can have payouts, the more frequent we have goals that are hit, the more motivating it is for the team. So a lot of businesses we work with do monthly. Sometimes we even see weekly, but we definitely want to do more than quarterly or biannual, right? So set the plan frequency, and then you can look at it in a couple different ways, and it can vary. You can have individual-based performance plans, which a lot of time is the case for service techs, where they're actually generating revenue and kind of have their own numbers that they're looking to hit. But a lot of businesses struggle with figuring out, how do we create a plan for the install team, right? Like, how do we tie dollar amounts back to what they're doing in their day-to-day performance? So we're going to go with a team-based performance plan, which basically creates a pool of money that will be dispersed across the team depending on performance. So we're going to click on the team performance plan, select who's falling into the plan. You can do it at the individual level or select it by roles. I'm just going to select a handful of people. We have our helpers, we have our lead installers, which we're essentially going to upload on the back end for you, because you can assign different weights to the role, which is very common. Like, your helpers get 2.5% of the payout. The lead installers get 5%. So we can preset that in the back end. So it's just going to auto calculate who's getting paid how much depending on that. So we're going to pick who falls into the plan. Thresholds is very important to every plan we build, really. A lot of time businesses will come into a consultation basically saying, hey, we're going to give our guys or our team money regardless of what happens. Like, you really want to make sure the business is in a position to actually be doing payouts and is not losing money on performance pay.
Yeah, and by the way, sorry to hop in. We've built sort of this simulator where we can stress test it with historical data and projected data. And again, that's going to just make sure they are only paying out for incremental, performance.
Definitely. We want to make sure the numbers align. And that's a part of the process, is figuring out, like, what assuming X happens or we hit our revenue target, how much are we comfortable paying out? So once we've figured out what that threshold should be, then it's putting it in place. So we'll keep it really simple. We'll do a revenue threshold of $100,000 on the month. That being said, we realize most of your businesses are cyclical. So let's understand it's probably not $100,000 every month across the year. Maybe June, July, August are huge months for the company. And let's set realistic targets, so the team is working towards hitting the number that the business needs to hit. So we change it based on what we're expecting to do here. Thresholds set. And then, okay, what are we actually paying out to the employees? Well, let's pay out a percentage of profit, right? We hit our revenue threshold of $100,000. Then we're going to pay out 5% of profit, right? We're going to, like Ryan mentioned, we have a simulation that basically tells us how much we should pay out on profit based on your payroll expense, based on your margins. So these are all factors we're considering to determine what that amount should be. Now, we can pay out a flat 5% of profit, or we can tier it. If we hit $100,000 in revenue, we'll pay out 5%. But if we hit $125,000 in revenue this month, we'll bump that up to 7%. So your team's not hitting that $100,000, and then all of a sudden they're all on vacation for the last week of the month. We want to keep dangling that carrot, if you want to call it that, to have them keep hitting those goals. I'm going to stick with the flat 5 for now, just to keep things simple. But here's where the performance pay really comes into play. And this is the part where businesses are coming to us saying, we don't know what to be using in terms of how are we going to allocate money to the installers based on performance? Well, what are you looking to tie a dollar amount back to?
And by the way, guys, this is I think the secret sauce. This is sort of like what goes into the title of this. This is how to create scorecards with performance pay, which KPIs. This is it. This is our big bang right here. Is we're going to start to now create these scorecards and these KPIs. Okay, so this is the secret sauce, I think.
Yeah, exactly. This is where you kind of make or break the plan. So you have pretty objective pieces that you can use, like role compensation, which is basically salary, tenure. Maybe you want to reward the people that have been with you for a long time, but it's not really performance based, right? that's where we want to factor in, hey, do we really want to get callbacks down? Is that a huge kind of issue that's lingering for our business? Well, we could look at it from a number standpoint, a percentage, like we want to have that below 2%. So we'll use callbacks. And the weights don't have to be even, which I'll touch on in a second. We'll use callbacks. We'll use tardiness or calling out. These don't have to be, like Ryan mentioned, we don't want to overly complicate these plans. They should be straightforward and easy for everyone to understand what they need to do or not do to make more money. And it's a point system. So let's just say, for example, tardiness. You call out, you're late once, you lose half of that 20%, which is what tardiness is worth. If you're late 3 times, you're going to lose that entire 20%. So I'll touch more on that in a second.
And by the way, this, I heard a saying, what's the only job for certain that you can show up on time to? And that's the first job of the day. And Diane, to your, you said it in the chat, let's find and fix your profit leaks. It's like things like this are where the profit starts to leak. You showed up late, everything gets pushed, you missed your last job of the day. Maybe that was the big job. Then they're not even happy anymore. They're not going to leave you a 5-star review. They're not going to buy additional services. They're not going to refer you to their neighbors. So it's like, this is where those profit leaks come in. How does the system know if someone's late? So Evelyn, by the way, just to quickly answer that. So a lot of times people will have attendance and time cards. So we'll integrate into, a lot of systems have timesheets and time cards directly integrated. So that is, we talked about this a little bit earlier. The data coming in is absolutely critical. So if you're tracking that literally anywhere, we're going to grab that data. We have an integrations hub. We'll pull it in and then boom, we feed it into here. So that's like one of the most important things. That's where we think our differentiator comes in, is we're going to pull in the data in real time. The data is where all of this actually works. You would deduct a word. So for percentage, you could say like number of times what percent are they tardy? And it's like, if they're tardy greater than 20%, they lose that piece of the award. Rob, to your question, or you could do either or. I'm going to give it back to Jack so he can kind of show you what he's thinking with these.
Yeah, Rob, we wouldn't typically, we're not saying, hey, reward someone for consistency. I guess it works the same way, but not legal in California.
Yeah, you give them upside. You give them upside. If no tardiness, then you get upside. Yeah.
I'll add one more because we don't want to do more than. Like to keep it at 3 to 4. Sometimes, hey, there's 5 metrics we really want to focus on. But again, we don't want to use 20 different things because 1, it's overly complicated, but 2, you want each metric to have a significant dollar amount associated with it, because if callbacks is worth $10, probably not going to care that much. But if it's worth, $300 a month, that goes a long way.
So just to jump in real quick, Kevin Wiseman asked, if they lose part, does it go to the rest of the employees? So there's 3 different types of plans that we have. We have like a company pool plan. So if there's a bunch of people in a pool plan that starts at a pooled company level number, if one person loses it, yes, it does kind of like go back to the other people. Most of our customers are on these individual performance plans, and they can either start at a potential max bonus. So it can start, I forget what you did here, but it's like it could start at potentially, 5% of their attributed revenue, 5% of their profits. So then they would get, based on, the attendance and all of those things. Let's say their potential max bonus was $5K. They end up getting 90% of that. They'll get $4,500. So in that scenario, it doesn't go to other people. They have a potential max bonus for that individual, and then they can get up to 100% of that. But if it's a pooled plan with company or team pooled plan, then it could potentially get redistributed. Yes.
Please keep asking questions. This is why
keep asking questions. And if that's not clear, tell me it's not clear, and I'll try to explain it so it is clear.
Yeah, we want to make sure this is informative, like Ryan said, not just a demo of our software. So we've created the plan, or we created the scorecard, I should say. Each one has different weights. We really want to focus on a few key things. and then really just reviewing the plan before it's live, right? Okay, thresholds are good. We're paying out monthly, 5% of profits getting paid out. Here's the scorecard for determining who's getting paid what, and then who's falling into the plan. Because once you publish the plan, then it goes live to all the employee dashboards. And guys, this is really where we think businesses win and where businesses lose, quite frankly, is there's really not buy-in or engagement from the employees, whether that's using ShareWillow's dashboards, having a spreadsheet that the team can see. If there's not a level of visibility and transparency for the employees to say, hey, how much money have I earned? What do I need to do to earn more money? Are we on track to hit our goal, right? Then the plans, the performance cake kind of just falls in the background. The team's it's not top of mind. They don't know how much money they're making, or they're asking you every 2 days how much money they've made or if they're going to hit their goal, and then it creates more work and meetings for you. So again, whether it's with us or Excel or whatever it is, like this is key to performance pay and doing incentives is this level of visibility. So your employees, Declan, can log in and see not just his performance pay, but any bonuses, spiffs, variable compensation that he's eligible for. It's about getting the team to think, what am I earning effective? What is our total compensation, not just my hourly? So like Ryan said, hey, I'm getting paid $30 an hour, but I actually made $42 an hour, all said and done. So Declan logs in, he can see what he made year to date, what he got in his last award. Am I on track to hit my target? There is a level of gamification here. It's like, how do we get employees constantly thinking about what they need to do to put more money in their pocket? So Declan can see also what is contributing to my payout, right? It's not just, okay, I got a $358 check so far, but where is that coming from? Is it because I've had upsells? Is it from my 5-star reviews? Is it my callbacks? Is the revenue I've generated? We're looking at a technician scorecard, but having clear insight into ultimately what's contributing to that dollar amount. Am I up or down, right? So not to beat a dead horse, but it's keeping the employees engaged and then tying a dollar amount back to those behaviors. Because I had 2 5-star reviews, I got $20. Because I had my callback percentage down, I made 100. Or because I had a lot of callbacks, I lost 20, right? And again, this is really where businesses win. And this is where we're continuing to build for, because the more your employees are engaged, the more you get out of it. But pausing there for a second to see if there's any questions.
Yep. I don't know if this got buried, so I'm gonna put it here one more time. Book a one-on-one call with us. I have a link there. There's 24 people still here, which we're 48 minutes in. So shout out everyone who has an attention span longer than mine. And yeah, if you guys have any more questions, keep putting them in the chat. Kevin Wiseman just said, does more than one plan work where a manager supervisor would get a bonus based on service techs results and an individual plan for the service techs based on their individual performances? Hold on, I have to read that again. Sorry. Does more than one plan work where a manager would get a bonus based on all service techs results? Yeah, so the team results of all service techs and an individual plan for the service techs based on their individual performances. Yes, absolutely. Different plan, they might work, right? So I feel like a few different plans will work. What we've found is that the individual plans typically work better. I think, like, in theory, you're like, hey, let's encourage the team. There's a few things. What we've seen this, and I'm sure it can be wrong a bunch of times, and there's exceptions and everything. But it's kind of like a group project. Like 3 people might be doing it, one person slacks, they sort of get the credit for it. If it's an individual plan, again, they're not competing with each other. It's not like the best person gets the most amount of money. It's like if you hit greater than 10, you can all get the money. You know what I mean? Because you're on individual plans. If you get more than 5-star reviews in a week, you'll get this, right? It's not zero sum because they're going out to their own jobs. They're not competing with each other. So that's why we feel like the individual plans, work really, really well. Bob, what is the average cost to build this for a company? Setup cost just to build everything integrated, 3K. One time 3K setup costs. And then we have the software that the employees use. And we've seen companies add $5 million in revenue within the first year. Like you saw FH Fur, they were doing like 30 million. They went to 60 million when they, implemented performance pay after a year, once everyone was dialed in, right? So like the upside is ridiculous. Rob, good guy plumbing, service managers' jobs to coach and push checks to drive revenue. So usually service managers get a percentage of revenue goals if they're met. Yep. Usually on revenue reach and even gross margin. That's right. So a lot of times the service manager gets like a percentage of their team. Then the individual service technicians will be like, all right, I have to do what I have to do. And then the service manager is kind of like Jack, to be honest. He's like VP, he's head of sales here. Jack gets paid on everyone's sales because he's coaching our sales, our reps and stuff, right? He's the AEs and all of that. The AEs, our account executives, get paid on their individual performance. I think it's probably similar. So that's totally right. Keep asking questions. We have a few minutes left here. But by the way, guys, this was our first webinar. I'm sure we could have done a better job. I could have had a better background, which is I'm really self-conscious of that right now. So I apologize for a pretty sterile background. That's going to improve. I botched some slides earlier. So look, even, we make a lot of mistakes, but we own it and we want to do what's best and we want to improve. But I was happy anyone showed up. So I'm super grateful that you guys all showed up here. I do appreciate that. I dropped a link to like a one-on-one call with us. I promise we're not salesy. I even tell our sales, I'm the founder, right? I tell the sales guys, if it's not a good fit, do not close it. They're going to cancel. I don't want that. I want everyone's, the first one's the hardest. Thanks, Diane. I want everyone it to be a good fit and it to be a clear winner. And I think we win in the long run when you see value from this getting implemented in 6 months and 12 months. So like we are very like, we're going to educate and we're going to tell you what other people are doing and we're going to try to be a resource. So like we'd love to chat. I dropped HubSpot meeting link there. We have a few minutes left if you have additional questions. We're kind of like, it's probably, I don't want to like, data overload everyone, data dump on people. So like we can kind of stop there, but keep, any Q&A for the rest of the time. I think definitely fire that away. I'll pass back to Jack if, I don't know if I forgot anything, Jack.
No, I don't think so. Hopefully this was helpful for those of you we haven't talked to, like obviously Rob, good to see you again. But yeah, we wanted to make this more informative in terms of giving you a sense of how plans can be created and what we see best practice wise and how to keep employees engaged. Like Ryan mentioned in one of the slides, like it can be evolving. It's progressive where the plans aren't meant to be stagnant, right? Maybe you start scaling, you bring on 3 more trucks, which happens all the time, and you're in a different position. The goals need to change. The metrics you're looking at need to change. So it's helpful when you have partner and a resource, again, whether it's us or someone else that can kind of guide you as your business grows. I know, Diane does similar things. So it's good to have everyone on here. But yeah, if there's any other questions, we're happy to answer them.
Amazing. We're going to send a recap out. I'll send the link out to everyone so you can watch this. If you do have questions, would love, we'll answer those. Again, I'm going to drop our call to action. As you guys know, when you're in, sales or doing something, nice call to action. So dropping that call to action one more time for our HubSpot link to do a call. And no worries if not, by the way. And so we'll send their meeting recap out. Honestly, I'm so grateful for everyone that showed up and 20 people retaining to the very end an hour later. And these are not chatbots. These are all real people, which by the way, I'm on the Instagram live. You can see these are like real people in here. This is awesome. So I'm truly grateful. Ask us questions, respond to the newsletter. I send the newsletter out, respond to the newsletter. Richard, what's up?
Shout out Richard. I hope you found your dog.
I got him, Jack. Thanks, bro.
Thank you. We were worried.
Amazing. Jackie's the more quiet one, especially compared to me, who can talk. But I'm sure a lot of our customers are like that. I'm sure you guys are like that too. So, we're just mirroring each other. But anyway, seriously, thank you guys so much. I'm going to send it out. Reply to the newsletter if you ever have questions or get value or tell me how I can improve. We want to get better too, just like you guys are all trying to get better. So thank you guys so much. I'll send the recap out. See ya.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.